Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of Bring Back the Love Conversations. I'm your host for this evening, AJ Throwback, and we are rolling along with our series. We're doing a bunch of different series, going from track to track on this project. Today or tonight, we're talking about unrequited love, and when I say I can't even begin to tell y'all how excited I am for this conversation for my brother. And when I say my brother, you know what I'm saying? We ain't blood, but we might as well be. You know what I'm saying? Like one of my best friends in the whole wide world. We have not done something together, podcast, radio wise, in what, 24 years, 25 years almost. But this brother right here, when I tell y'all, he is the reason why I'm in radio, a huge amount of the reason why I'm in radio, other than my dad. This guy is like, gave me my first shot, Midnight Storm, going back to Hobart William Smith College's WEOS 89.7, 90.3 FM. Man, when I tell you, and like I said, one of my best friends in the whole wide world, my brother, Jason Mitchell, aka Country. You know what I'm saying?
Cue the
My
pause
guy.
track. I'm in the room. What's up? What's going on? What's going on?
Hey man, look, I can't even begin to tell you how like boosted I was. Like the moment you said you was gonna come on the show, I was like, look, this is like reunion time right here.
Listen, family,
They don't even know.
You call, I'm gonna come through, regardless.
Yes.
You already know what it
Yes.
is. I'm coming through. All right.
Absolutely. Yeah, man. So thank you for coming on tonight. And, you know, if there's anybody, y'all, that I'm excited to talk to, other than, of course, you know what I'm saying, y'all know I had my wife on before, you know, but when it comes to anybody else outside of my wife that I'd be excited to talk about R&B and relationships with, it's this guy right here. You know what I mean? So it's
we done went over the whole spectrum, my guy. Over the 20 years, we done went through every spectrum.
Absolutely.
It's been a trip. It's been a trip.
Yeah. We done seen each other through some stuff. Right. Right.
Incriminate myself.
Yes, indeed. So being an aficionado in R&B and in relationships, we're gonna start with the music component of everything. You know, you growing up kind of split, because what's funny is that I knew you was country, or I met you as country, but you were living in Queens at the time, which is funny because it's like, okay, how you country, but you live in Queens? You know what I'm saying? But then you kind of find out the background of the story and everything, you know what I'm saying, originally from North Carolina. So I feel like you probably have a different kind of dynamic in terms of like how you got music at that time. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, we both basically, you know, born the same year and everything. So we're in the same generation and all that good stuff. But how was your experience when it came to being exposed to R&B, falling in love with R&B? Like, tell us about some of those first memories of really getting exposed to the music.
So for me, my first exposure when it came to the R&B music was, I want to say I was around like 9 years old, and I was living in North Carolina. I was sharing a room with my cousin Chris and my cousin Major, and all right, big as I am, I don't like the dark. It ain't my vibe. So my cousin Chris had this boom box, and it had lights in the front. So at night, he would always put it to the Quiet Storm. And him and my cousin, they would knock out quick. And I'm just laying in the dark. The only light is the boom box. And all my focus is on the lights and the music. And just, it smoothed me. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was a blanket when I needed cover, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
The way the flow, the way the words would just come out and it just hit me. I was like, oh man, this is it. And next thing I knew, I just fell in love with it. And R&B was my job. Like, I even work out to it. You know what I mean? Like, you know, most people hit on like, you know, hardcore, whatever. I'd be in there with Maxwell throwing up sets. Like, come in. You know what I mean? like I'm doing TLC up in there trying to get right. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's how I fell in love with music. It was definitely that quiet storm those nights. Um, it was solitude. I was with people but alone.
Mm,
And I think that's the thing about music. It was like no matter what setting you're in, it can isolate you and bring you together at the same time. It's that duality with it that you're always going to get something different depending on the environment you're with it in. And I don't think any other genre of music has that to me.
mm, mm,
But yeah, that's how I fell in love with it. My way of getting it when I came to New York. I don't know about DC, but New York, the mixtape culture was huge in the city. Every time you came downtown Brooklyn, Catch Me Outside, Hawking Tapes, Greatest Hits. Um, I knew catalogs way before anybody else. You know what I'm saying? Like
mm,
when you come up out of the city, a lot of people know an artist for like that one album. But with mixtapes, I knew about covers, I knew about demos,
mm,
um, I knew about people writing songs for other people beforehand and giving out demos of how it should sound.
mm.
Like that's a whole world that people don't even know about.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and that's a really interesting dynamic because like you the first person to really introduce that layer of it in terms of like the mixtapes and like the
mhm.
versions of songs that you might not get listening to the radio or watching Video Soul or something like that. Like a lot of times like you'll get certain behind the scenes things with like a lot of those, like if you have interviews with a lot of the artists, you find out certain things. But that aspect of it, you're the first person I've heard like in the series so far really talk about that.
Because you know what it is for me, I love covers. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Like I love a good song, but I love what someone else can do with it. Like right
Mm-hmm.
now, this dude named Teddy Swims, white boy.
Oh
Hey,
yeah.
hey, hey, he doing some fly work. Vito, another good artist. He got started doing covers. Vito's difference is his covers are like whole new remix. Like he would take the essence of a song and rebuild it. Whereas
Mm-hmm.
Teddy's taking the exact same song, just giving it a soulful, deep tilt to it. But
Mm-hmm.
it's just experiencing how different artists can bring out different flows. Like lately I've been listening to this joint by it's Tank and it's called It's My Fault, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's a song he wrote for Latoya Luckett she never picked up. But the way he sings it from a female point of view and it hit. Like the whole point of the song is like, it's my fault you hurting me because I gave you a chance to do so. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? It's my fault you talking to that girl. It's my fault you slept with her because I'm allowing you into my world to hurt me with these actions. Like
Yeah.
it's a beautiful song, and I would love to hear Latoya sing it. But hearing Tank's flow on it is just, bruh, get a
Yeah.
chance, play that for yourself. It's nice. It's nice.
Yeah. Yeah. You are the third person so far to mention Tank on this platform. I feel like Tank. If you ever see any of these episodes, like you've been getting your flowers heavily, bruh.
Oh, he deserves it.
Yeah,
He deserves it.
like for real, for real. And I mean, of course, the DMV's own Tank. So like I feel like he's probably one of the best. And I won't say I mean, I guess to a certain degree, he might just be one of the most underrated or unsung singer songwriters that are out there because you hear about so many of them that get talked about, but I don't feel like Tank gets enough shine for what he's done and what he can do and the talents that he has. In fact, one of my friends that I work with, he's been in a room with Tank several times and like has talked about his process and how dope it is just to kind of sort of watch him work like from a creative standpoint. Like he's one of those guys that just really he understands what to do with a song. He understands also who should be best to sing a song.
Mhm.
Like if he's not the one singing it, he always knows who to kind of sort of farm it out to.
That was Neo has a good bag like that, and
Hmm.
Joanna Austin. Do you remember that cat?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Joanna Austin
Hmm.
was another one. Like there's some people that can conceptualize an artist. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? They can get into their bag and give them the words that's going to flow right out of them. Because not everybody can sing every song right. Like, that's just a fact. Like some
right.
songs, you be like, yo, fair, who gave you that? Like put that down. Put that down. That's not your bag. All right, put that down. All right, let's sit back. Let's come back to the drawing board.
Yeah.
Um, and then you got to think about the self confidence to give a hit to somebody else when you're an
Mm-hmm.
artist yourself. You
Yep.
know what I'm saying? Like that's wild to me. Like Neo and Tank, like they gave out hits.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Babyface, you know, original, giving out hits.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why I like Tank is because you can't pinpoint his signature in the stuff he gives out. With
Right.
Babyface, you know a Babyface hit. Like, you know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like, you know, oh, it's Babyface. Like
Mm-hmm.
Babyface could have sung the song did the same thing. You know what I
Right.
mean? Neo, you can feel a Neo hit. But with
Mm-hmm.
Tank, he totally goes into the artist and speaks as if he's that person.
Right.
Where they can totally claim the song and say, nobody had anything to do with this is all me. And you wouldn't even blink.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's why he definitely is in my Rushmore of singer, writer, artists. Like he's
Yeah.
definitely there.
Yeah, yeah, and he deserves to be. Like, I mean, he's
Mhm.
incredible. He's incredible at that, and I like that breakdown in terms of like the difference in terms of the tiers between, say, like a Babyface or a Neo or a Tank in terms of like the different things that they're able to do. From a singer songwriter,
Mhm.
helping with the vocal arrangements, also production. I think that's another thing with Tank is that I don't feel like Tank always works with the same producers, like from project to project or from song to song. Like he might work with like a certain group of people, but it's never the same people all the time. Whereas with Babyface, you can tell a Babyface song just from the production alone. Like before
Mhm.
the person even sings a note, like you know it's Babyface. Same thing with Neo because he was working with I forget where those guys were from. I think it was like from Sweden or wherever they were from. It was Star. I can't remember the name of the production company he was working with for the longest time because like all the stuff was sounding like, okay, Neo's got something to do with this. From what's it, the Spotlight for Jennifer Hudson to what's it? I think I forget what that Rihanna song was. Not It's Over Now. I forget, it's like the actual title of it, but like then Irreplaceable by
Mhm.
Beyonce. Like all the joints were sounding alike after a while. Tank is different. Like, and it's no knock on Babyface. It's no knock on Neo, or it's no knock on, say, even like thinking about Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis or Teddy
Right.
Riley. Like a lot of those producers, like you knew that they had signature sounds. Whereas, like you said, Tank, you never know if it's Tank or not. And I kind of like that because it's like the element of surprise, like, oh wow, Tank did that. Like,
Yeah.
I, I
Yeah.
like that.
Let's get it back to you though, because you my favorite producer, my guy. All right.
I
Let's go back
appreciate
there.
it, man.
Nah. I still remember your mother's basement reading your joints. Like uh, you have I think the thing that impressed me most about you is that you've never lost your penmanship.
Mm,
Um, I think trying to make it nowadays and produce for people nowadays is like the penmanship is lost. I don't think it's there like it used to be. Like
right.
you don't rewind the track. Like, oh wait. Okay, I see what you was doing there. You know what I'm saying?
Mm,
Like the '90s, even a little bit of the early 2000s. Like music was so more multifaceted. It was always about the allegory. You know, the
hmm.
words behind the words. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like paint this picture to the point where you rewind it. You're like, oh, here you go. I'm here for it. Like,
Hmm.
what influenced you? Like, let's talk about that. Like, how'd you come up with your style?
Well, I appreciate you asking that question. Nobody has asked me that question to this point. And it's important to kind of sort of understand it, especially because like that all drives this whole series, whether you're talking the album itself or whether you're talking the series itself, Bring Back the Love Conversations. Like for me, the people who inspired me the most from a production standpoint, I would say Babyface for sure. LA,
Mm,
when it was LA and Babyface. But even when Babyface stepped out a little bit more on his own, because if you think about like Waiting to Exhale, that was more Babyface than it was LA and Babyface. Because I think LA, he got more comfortable with the executive side of the game and he kind of sort of, I won't say abandoned his musical roots, but he was just more focused on business. Like if you think about LaFace in the 90s, like
Mm.
Face was more the creative guy, whereas, La, he was more like, okay, yeah, I can drum. Yeah, I'm a good musician, but I'm more interested in the business side of it, like, and that's why, like, he's now a well respected executive to this day. But point being, like, at that time, like, because they were doing a lot of things together, I'm big on tandems. And so,
Mm.
like, LA and Babyface as a tandem, Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, like, huge influence on a lot of what I like to kind of sort of look at. Like, sometimes they weren't always so focused on like hardcore musicianship. They were the ones that were like experimental with a lot of different sounds,
Mm.
but still implement like musicianship in there because, I mean, of course, they come from the time. So you had to have a certain level of musicianship if you're in anything that Prince is involved with.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah.
like you can't get away with not being a musician and you're with Prince. So, but I liked how they went on their own and just kind of sort of started experimenting a little bit more, especially when they started working with Janet Jackson. I think Janet Jackson and even Alexander O'Neal to a certain degree just really opened them up as producers. Teddy Riley, he's a guy that, like, I mean, of course, New Jack Swing, you don't have New Jack Swing without Teddy Riley.
Right.
And him implementing not only the musicianship, but it's like whenever I think about pocket and swing, like us in the DMV, we're big on pocket and how things feel and how the beat kind of sways. And to me, I don't really feel like there are too many producers in music history other than James Brown as an artist who understood pocket and swing better than Teddy Riley. But of course, Teddy Riley borrowing a lot of that energy from James Brown. I mean, you think about so much of New Jack Swing is nothing but like music put to break beats from old James Brown songs,
Mm.
and different sounds from James Brown songs. Because James Brown was just one of those type of people. Like when you think about the whole call and response aspect of black music. I mean, of course it starts from the church, but then when it broadens outside of the church, or a lot of it starts from the church, at least in American music. But when you start stepping outside of the church and you think about like different blues artists, different funk artists, different soul artists, like they took a lot of that call and response and implemented it in their music. Like a lot of that stuff, like the pieces that Teddy Riley will pull from James Brown songs would be, it could be chants, it could be call and response, it could be breaks, it could be different just pieces that really just made it funky, but made it something that the newer generation could relate to. You know what I mean? And then I also think about like slow jams, like back in the day when they still called them slow jams, when you still
Mm.
had that format. Like for me, I mean, of course, I mentioned Babyface. He's probably one of the top tier ones. But then I also think about some of the unsung producers that don't get talked about enough. Like you hear about the artists, but you don't always hear about the producers. Like I think about Barry Eastman, who, if nobody knows who Barry Eastman is, just think Freddie Jackson, most of his career.
Woo. Freddie.
um, Anita Baker, he was co-producer on I Apologize with Gordon Chambers. Another guy who, you talk about somebody who gives away a lot of hits, like you mentioned that with Tank. Gordon Chambers is a name that a lot of people don't know about, but he's another guy who has given away a lot of hits to people, and this guy can sing. Like Gordon Chambers can sing his face off, but he's given so many different people hits working with, say, a Barry Eastman or a lot of other people that he has, because he felt like, okay, this artist could do it better than I could ever do it. You know what I mean? So,
Mm.
like, people like that, people like Paul Lawrence. Paul Lawrence, again, somebody else who has worked with closely with Freddie Jackson, but he's also he produced a remake of Do Me Baby for Melissa Morgan.
Mm.
I'm trying to think who else did. A lot of people may or may not be familiar with Lilo Thomas. Like he was a big collaborator with Lilo Thomas. He's done stuff for Melba Moore. So did Barry Eastman. Like all of these different like artists. Evelyn Champagne King. He worked a lot with Evelyn Champagne King along with Kashif. Kashif's another guy who was like heavily influential on a lot of things that I do. But just kind of framing it for this particular project, like those are some of the names. And of course, I can't forget Chucky Booker. Chucky Booker is probably one of the most unsung producers, musicians, songwriters in music history. Like, and but a lot of the people in the game who know music, like they have sought out Chucky Booker. Chucky Booker has been musical director for Tina Turner. He's been musical director for Janet Jackson. He's been music director for Lionel Richie. That's how highly respected he is in terms of his musicianship. And of course, we can't forget, his own stuff that he's done for himself with Turned Away, with Games, but then also what he's done for Troop, with Spread My Wings, with
Oh,
the
Troop was my
remake of
joint.
with the
That was my
remake of
joint.
All I Do Is
Yeah.
Think of You. If you listen to how he composes songs, Chucky Booker is probably one of my biggest low-key influences because I just go and I listen to how he puts together songs, how he uses synthesizers, how he uses different sounds in songs. And he is a one-of-a-kind talent, you know what I'm saying? So I know that was a long answer, but there's so many other people I could name, but like just off the break, those are a lot of the people that really just kind of sort of guided me, like starting out and wanting to be a producer. Because I mean, there's a lot of other people that influenced me along the way, but when you talk about the start of me wanting to be a producer, it started with R&B. And that's a huge amount of reason why I'm doing this series like all together and why I'm doing this album. It's an ode to like falling in love with R&B in the late 80s, early 90s, and that being kind of sort of the driving force behind everything that I do, even as a hip hop producer. Like the stuff that I do is R&B influenced, just with hard drums, which was a lot of like when you think about the Teddy Rileys, like what he did. Like he would take stuff that had melody and give it hard drums. And I've
And
always been big on that.
yo, I swear, man, I love when you get in your bag, my guy. Like, yo, I don't know about nobody else, but to me, it's always amazing to see someone speak from a place of authority about something they have passion about. You know what I mean? And no matter what it is, like it could be cooking, it could be video games, it could be how to make a sandwich. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But when somebody, oops, sorry about that.
It's all good.
Sorry about that. That was a minor difficulty. But when people get in their bag about something they're knowledgeable about, like your fam, like half the names you mentioned, I'll be honest, I don't know none of them cats. But now hearing you speak about them, it's like, oh wait, I do know about that contribution. I do know about that song. I do know about their work in that area. And I don't think I've ever looked past it. It's like I know when you bought CDs or tapes, you went to the credits.
Yes.
Immediately. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? Like, I would
Absolutely.
go in there and look at the lyrics. Like I remember CDs first came out and they had the lyrics in there. I was like, oh, this is lit.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
You went to the credits and got in your bag. I like that. I like that. Much respect,
Yeah.
my man. Much respect.
Yeah. And you brought up a good point in terms of like that era of getting a CD, getting a tape, even if you were connected to vinyl, it had all of that stuff on it that like, even if you just went to the lyrics, you could go to the lyrics. If you were unsure about a lyric in a song, you go right to that joint in the CD, read that joint a couple times, or go to the joint in the tape.
Before we go any further, with that segue, I gotta ask you about the most infamous lyric of all time. Guy, piece of my love. All right. As you're saying that, we gotta pull it up. Guy, piece of my love. Do you
Yeah.
believe Aaron said, dumb bitch? I feel he did. I've heard it 100 times.
I mean,
he gave it. That was a hard at the internet. All right, that was no dumb bitch. Right? That was a hard itch at the
internet. I mean, let's keep it real. Let's call it what it is. Aaron Hall, given his history with women, I would not be surprised.
recent
Right.
comments.
Yes. Like I would not be surprised if he did say that.
Yo,
I
his
wouldn't
recent
be
comments have
surprised.
been quite quite wild.
Right. His
That's a
recent
wild
comments
tweet.
and then given his history, because let's not forget this man was locked up for a little while off, I think it was like a sex assault or some kind of sexual charge.
It
While
was
we
a
didn't see
fix.
him between basically 1994 and like 1997, 1998. He was in for a while. Awesome, off him doing some nonsense,
You know
So
what's crazy? Had he never went away for that period of time, he probably been a lot bigger. I feel like
absolutely.
R. Kelly slid into his slot. And it's weird that they
Hmm.
both have criminal, past, but let's be honest. A lot of our creatives have tortured, have tortured psyches.
Yeah.
I feel like we as a culture don't look at how little mental health we had coming up. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Like a lot of the people that we look up to, they had mental issues.
Yeah.
Like they didn't have an outlet for it. They didn't have, help for it. And that's not
Hmm.
excusing their actions. But a lot of our creators back in the day were flawed. And you can see that
Yeah.
from any documentary. Like
Yeah.
if you look too closely at all of them, they all had issues. Like,
Hmm.
but had Aaron not disappeared during that time, he definitely would have been a bigger person. His voice was magical. That dude used to get down.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
went off the left. Let's come back. Let's bring it back. Let's bring it back.
It's all good. It's all good.
That's
I
no.
mean,
We get together. We start talking. It's
oh
so many
yeah.
different tangents to go down. Like
Hey, it's
that's
a
my fault,
conversation.
audience. My fault,
it's
audience.
it's a conversation, bro. Like trust me, I feel like every single conversation I've had so far has gone off on some sort of a tangent.
Mm,
And but like when you talking about R&B and you talking about a lot of the history behind it and a lot of situations, I mean the thing is like so much has happened just in the era that we grew up in that is like a whole bunch of kind of sort of spider web kind of conversations come about, but they all somehow weave themselves in together. Because I mean, hey, I mean, we did mention Teddy Riley. You can't
yeah.
mention Teddy Riley without mentioning Aaron Hall or
Aaron Hall
Guy.
was his muse. That was his vehicle. Like that guy
Right.
carried the team. What? Put me
Yeah,
in.
exactly. I mean,
Then he
we
picked
know
up.
Teddy wasn't doing
Then he
it.
picked up Dave Hollister as the second coming. Had him
Right,
coming in,
right,
hold it
right.
down. Like that guy he definitely was the backbone of Blackstreet. Like, come on.
Oh
You
yeah.
wanna go to Chauncey Black? Nah, man. Nah. Sit down, buddy.
But
Yo.
you know what's funny about you saying that is that I was just having this conversation with Micah probably like a week or two ago. And we were talking about how Chauncey doesn't get enough respect, like out of all the guys in Blackstreet. Cause it's like, you've had Dave Hollister, and it's like Dave Hollister is the cream of the crop when it comes to the singers that have been in Blackstreet. And then you have Mark Middleton, like who ended up coming in there and like, I mean, don't get me wrong, Mark Middleton was like your Kavon Edmonds of After Seven. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Like he was that caliber of a singer. Whereas, like, say, like, what's my guy that ended up doing a lot of stuff with Jaheim? Eric Williams. Eric
Mhm.
Williams, like he was basically the Melvin Edmonds. Like it's funny that I'm drawing I've never drawn that parallel between After Seven and Blackstreet, specifically the second reincarnation of Blackstreet once they got Mark Middleton and Eric Williams. But if you think about it, it's every great R&B group has those setup guys. Like you have one guy that kind of sets it up, like whether you talking, like I said, Melvin Edmonds from After Seven or Walter Williams from the OJs, and
Mhm.
then you have your Gerald Levert or your Kavon Edmonds or your Mark Middleton that got a little bit more power to their voice or just brings a little bit something different than the setup guy. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like thinking about Blackstreet, and I think that's what made Blackstreet a little bit better than Guy, is that Aaron was doing all the work singing.
Oh yeah.
Cause
Oh yeah.
you wasn't counting on Damien to do no singing. And you wasn't counting on Teddy Riley to do no singing. You know what I'm
Hey, they
saying? Not
needed
no
three guys
serious
with
singing.
deaths and letters. That's all it was. They needed a guy for each letter, G, U, and Y. They needed one guy for
Yeah.
each one. That's it. That's all that was.
Yeah, man. But I mean, but then that kind of sort of brings up something thinking about. I feel like I brought this up in a previous conversation the lack of groups in R&B now, because you talking about an era where there was still R&B groups, and probably one of the last ones that I can even think of, and I still don't feel like they made the impact that they could have, was say like a Day 26 in terms of like more recent ones. Because I mean, you had 112, you had like Jagged Edge, but you think
Whoa,
it
whoa,
like
whoa,
when
whoa.
you
It's not
think
to slip by Jagged Edge, okay? All right.
no, no,
Yep.
definitely can't slip
All
by
right.
Jagged. I
Like,
mean, you know,
you
I
already know
brought
I
up
fuck
Jagged
with
Edge
Jagged Edge
for a
fan.
reason.
Okay,
You know
let's not
that.
just hit them as a throwaway comment. All
No,
right.
no, 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 no. Like you knew I brought them up for a reason. I see. No, notice I could have mentioned anybody. I could have mentioned Drew Hill.
You could
You
have.
know
You
what I'm
could have.
saying? But I specifically mentioned Jagged Edge. You
Thank you.
know what I'm
Thank you.
saying?
Thank you.
Because
Get my boys in there. I love them dudes.
absolutely, absolutely. I mean, whenever I think of Jagged Edge, I think of you. Like you are the first person. Anytime, like I think about when we were on the air, and I think about that one. It was like maybe January of '98. This is our first year, and we were at WEOS when they moved the station from
Mm-hmm.
Cheryl over to their own
Little
station, their
building.
own
Yeah,
house.
yeah. I was
Exactly.
upstairs in the attic going through the records. Yo, I came down. I
Exactly.
remember I was like, yo, fam, we got one.
Yeah.
Like, I
Yeah.
think we played
Yeah.
it like 3 times that first night. Like, yo, run that back. Yo, run
Yeah.
that back.
Yeah.
That gotta be. Yo, run that back. Run that back. One more time. Put that on. Like,
Absolutely.
you know,
Absolutely. Yeah.
they did a refresh of it like 2 years ago.
Really?
Yeah, I sent you. It's smooth. It's smooth. They
Okay.
smoothed it out. They smoothed it out. I was like, because it was great back then, but it didn't age as well. But they went
Mm,
back into it and they did.
mm.
Hey, well, I'm a fan anyway, so I was that fan. I was like, oh, I'll take it again. I'll take it
Yeah.
again. speaking of
Remember.
which, speaking of which, to the point of the whole conversation, unrequited
Yeah.
love,
Yes.
they featured on a song by. Do you know this dude named Division?
I think I've heard his name before.
Look, Division is a F boy. All right, I'll be honest. His music is F boy music. He had that song, "If I Get Caught" or something. If I cheat
Okay.
or something. It was horrible song. Horrible song.
Yeah.
However, the follow-up song is called "What's Up,"
Okay.
and "What's Up." It when I tell you, it captured a moment in my life when I was like, I want to say, I want to be like, I might have been 21, 22,
Okay.
and I was in love with someone. We broke up, and I was somebody else.
Mm.
And literally, the hook of the song is, he's like laying in bed with someone else. All I want to do is call my ex, right? Like
Oh
that's the hook
wow.
of the joint with it's Vision and what's Jagged Edge. And I remember being in bed with a woman in her house,
Mm.
laying there, and all I wanted to do was call my ex. And I literally got up and I did call my ex. It was foul. Like I ain't gonna lie, I was living bed.
Ah.
And I called my ex from the next room, like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
how do you not call me and check up on me? Like we was in love, B. Like I don't
Yeah.
care we're not together.
Yeah.
But it was fucked up. Excuse my language. It was messed up
Nah, it's all
because
good.
bleep that one out.
Nah, we
The
this
girl I
ain't
was
no
with,
family friendly show. You good, bro?
well then listen, I was effed up all the way. I didn't know how bad I messed up because the girl that I was with heard my whole conversation, right?
Yeah.
And she brought it up to me maybe like 3 months later. Like she's like, you called your ex that one night. I'm like, okay, I'm still here, right? How you doing? Let's go get a sandwich. Like, let's not dwell on that. Right?
Let's go get a sandwich. Don't just
Like,
skate past
let's
it.
get the sandwich. Let's get past that. Like obviously I was hurting. You know what I mean? Like, come on, I had a
Yeah.
moment. I'm
Yeah.
human over here. But that song I just recently heard it, and I'm in a good space. I'm
Mm.
happy. I'm working hard. I'm living life. I'm doing very well.
Yeah.
But I listen to that song a lot, not because I'm thinking about any exes, but it reminds me of that time when I was going through it, and I emphasized so much with the song, like yeah, I definitely was laying in bed with somebody else saying, damn, I need to call my ex
Mhm.
right now,
Yeah.
like that is one of the things I love about R&B. Like it can make you feel like a sad moment, even when you're feeling good. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And it doesn't bring me down. You
Yeah.
know, like
Yeah.
it's sorry. It's just whoo. It's a good song. It's very good.
Yeah.
The Jagged Edge. look, I don't think nobody can harmonize like them boys do. Boy, maybe that
Yeah.
twin thing, but when they get to
Hmm.
harmonizing, it's like I see what you did there. I like
Yeah.
it. I like
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. I love me some Jagged Edge. What song was I just listening to like maybe the other day? And I was just like listening to their voices. And I was just like, I have always loved the way they sing. It might have been Promise because that's actually Promise is actually my favorite Jagged Edge song. Like that song gives me chills every time I hear it. Like it's like from start to finish, the way it's just delivered, the way it's produced, the reason I love the way it's produced is because it kind of gave me that late 80s, early 90s type of feel, but still like early 2000s feel as well, or late 90s, early 2000s feel as well because of their voices, you know. And like, I mean, when you talk about like start to finish, like the song is going out and you just want it to keep going. That's how good the song is, you know. Like Jagged Edge, like what used to annoy me talking to people about Jagged Edge, it'd be like, well, all they songs sound alike, you know, and I'm like,
That part.
but I'm like, but if it's good, who cares?
Listen, you know my argument to that is my argument, I've had multiple arguments about this.
I'm sure.
My thing is like this. It's like imagine you go on a trip. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? You leave your house, you go away for like a week or two, you go somewhere, you have a good time. You come back home, you're happy to be home. It's home, but it's almost new again.
Yeah.
You got that comfort feeling, but it's new again because you've been away so long. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So you come
Hmm.
back, everything's still the same, but it has a newness to it because you haven't experienced it in a while.
Right.
That what Jagged Edge music has always been for me. It's always been, yeah, it has a similarity to some of their older joints, but that similarity brings me into the new cut.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? When
Yeah.
it brings me to a new cut and I feel connected to it already coming in. And it's not just Jagged Edge that do that. Almost most of the songs in the 90s did that. A
Yep.
lot of the songs that you hear now do the same. They use beats and flows from older songs to pull you in to get that feeling. I mean, Ashanti Hole's career is based off of that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You think Ashanti been that big had she not came out when she did?
No.
You feel me? Like people don't realize we find comfort in familiar things.
Yep.
Like that's a human condition.
Yeah.
If I can make you feel comfortable with me by giving you something familiar to identify with, I'm gonna have an easier time connecting with you.
Absolutely.
That's just like
Absolutely.
so.
Yeah.
If you want to hate on Jagged Edge for that, you wild because everything in your life is like that. When you
Hmm.
go away to go to places, you identify with things you can find a similarity about your own self with. So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
my TED talk. You know what I mean? That's my TED talk for that. You know.
And that's a good one because I think about my favorite Jagged Edge album. And a lot of people won't mention this as their favorite album. Most people I know they'll mention like J.E. Heartbreak. Like they'll mention that
Ooh,
album. For me, my favorite Jagged Edge album that I can listen to front to back and I have the most memories tied to is the Hard album. That
this is why
album
you my
right there.
guy.
Woo! I'm trying to tell
Yo,
you.
yo, I swear to God, I'm about to say the same thing. Listen, in the morning,
Yes, yes,
if
yes,
you don't come and
yes.
sit over here,
Ooh, that's the first song I thought about, bro. That's the
what's it
first
like?
song I thought about.
What's it like?
Yes,
Listen,
yes,
listen, that
yeah,
hard album was it. Like,
yeah,
that was Apex for you. That's peak Jagged Edge for me. Like,
yes, sir.
this is why you my brother, my man. This is why I'm gonna say I love you, my guy. Because Hard was a great album, and a lot of people slept on it. A lot
Yeah,
of
they
people
did.
slept on it.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, man. I always, whenever I think about that album, I think about taking road trips up to New York. And
Mm.
like, you know, I used to take them late night joints. So when I say that album was perfect for a late night bus ride, like it just set the mood. Like I didn't even want to listen to nothing else after I listened to that album. I'm like, I mean, what can I listen to that's gonna mess with that? Like, that's how good that album is, front to back. And they just, what I like about it is that they understood the assignment and they understood who they were creatively the most on that album, maybe more than any other album that they put out. And they put out quite a few good, really good albums,
Oh
great
yeah.
albums, I dare to
Oh
say.
yeah. Oh yeah.
But
Their catalog is
Hard,
nice.
but they just leaned in more into their identity as a group on Hard, more than any other album that they've ever put out.
And I hate to say this because I love creativity and I love people with exploring boundaries and all, but
Mm-hmm.
sometimes people want what they want.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I respect Beyonce because
Mm-hmm.
her last album, like creatively out of this world.
Yeah.
Like she went so many genres. She went opera, country, like she killed it. I give it to
Yeah.
her.
Absolutely.
But what Beyonce has, she has so much cachet in her fan base that she could do that.
That's right.
You know what I'm
That's
saying?
right.
Like she has enough cachet built up that her fan base is gonna jump out. Like they're gonna jump out.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of music, especially when it's so new, you got to listen to it repeatedly to get that connection to it. And
Right.
people don't do that no more. Back in the day, and I feel like the reason why we are such lovers of music, our generation,
Mm-hmm.
because it was so hard to come by. And when we got it, we listened to the whole album because, fam, I just spent
Yes.
$20 on this tape.
Right.
Like I'm not skipping nothing.
Right.
Like, I'm playing this repeatedly, B. My tape gonna
Yeah.
pop. All right.
Yeah.
Now music is so easy to get, it's almost throwaway. Like
Mm-hmm.
people hear songs now, and if it doesn't hit that first minute, it don't grab you, bruh.
Mm-hmm.
If it's not on TikTok and repeatedly being hit at you,
Yeah.
it's you're not gonna hit. It's just what it is. Because people don't
Yeah.
have the investment no more. It's like, oh man, I'm good off this first beat. Let me walk out. When some
Mm-hmm.
songs don't mature until you heard it like multiple times, like one of my favorite artists, a guy named Alan Stone, white
Oh
dude.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Let me
Yeah. He a
stop you.
beast.
His first song that I hit was oh man, what was that joint? I think it was Unknown. Is it Unknown? Not Unknown. I gotta think of the name of it. But either way, guys, look up Alan Stone. Unaware. That's it. It's called Unaware.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And the first time I heard it, it pissed me off. And I like, it's kind of old. I'm good. And then I don't know, something made me listen to it again. And
Yeah.
it reverberated, it hit my head. I was like, oh, we got one. like,
Mm-hmm.
like,
Mm-hmm.
what was I thinking about?
Yeah.
And after that, I went through his catalog, and the guy got hits. He
Yes,
got
he does.
covers. He did some Bob Marley joint, "Let Me Love You." Like he got some joints in there. I'm like, okay, this white
Mm-hmm.
boy he got some flow to him. But I feel like the new generation, they're gonna miss out on that. Like they're gonna
Yeah.
miss out on those songs that they're gonna miss. They're gonna skip by
Yeah.
because they don't
Yeah.
got the investment.
Right. They don't have the investment and they don't have the patience because, like you said, and like you suggested, everything is given to them so quickly. It's
Mm-hmm.
given to them so quickly, and it's almost too much access to music now. Because, like, you think about streaming, you can literally get a subscription to a streaming service and listen to whoever you want at any given moment, and you don't have to commit. That's it's the investment and the commitment to
Mm-hmm.
an artist. Because, like you said, we had to go out and buy tapes. We had to go out and buy CDs. We had to go out and buy even albums to a certain degree. We had to go out and buy those things. So because we had to take our hard-earned money, and this was the only way that you were going to be able to hear a full-length album. Yeah, you sat with those albums a whole lot more. Like, I'm surprised Hard, that Jagged Edge album doesn't have more scratches on it than it should, as much as I played it. Like, I mean, I ran that joint in the ground. You know what I mean? Like, because that at that time, I mean, I'm thinking like that was, I want to say either I think it was late '03 that album came out. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I was listening to that. I think about also like the following year. You talking about like Usher Confessions came out '04. I want to say maybe who else came out R&B wise '04. it was somebody else that I can't, for whatever reason, it's escaping me. But around that time, like, it's certain people whose albums I'm buying and I'm playing and playing and playing because look, I spent my money on this. So and it's not like I can go out and buy this person's album and this person's album and listen to this person's album at ease because look, I only got but so much money at one time to buy so many albums. So if I'm investing in it, it's got to be good, or I have to. It's almost like I have to know that this album is going to be worth my money, and not just my money, my time and my energy. You know what I mean? So, like when you talk about like the difference in how music is received, like that's why I always ask people, "How did you receive music?" Because like different people receive it different ways depending on when they were born, what they were exposed to, because even some younger people receive music, like people that's 10 years younger than us still receive music the same way, or people even 15 years younger than us still receive music the same way that we receive music because of who their parents were. You know what I'm saying? And how they were I guess groomed, if you want to say, in that way in terms of appreciating music. So
Yeah, I mean, we all got that parents cleaning up on Sunday, Al
right.
Green in the back, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like eight
Hmm.
track popping. Um, Parents definitely do have a duty in passing out good musical taste. My mom hooked me up, she did some good joints. Um, I just feel like music is such a bridge, you know what I mean? Like, do you ever remember back in the day, you used to look in the paper and they had those, what was that record company that would sell you like 10 tapes for like a penny?
Oh,
Remember
you
that?
got two of them. You had two of them because I got a good amount of my collection, the same collection that you admired when I came to Hobart.
Oh,
A good amount of that collection, BMG and Columbia House.
Columbia House. That what it was. That what it was.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hmm.
listen, audience. Let me just tell y'all how I met this man. I got blessed for opportunity to do a radio show because I like R&B, but I was a broke student. I had like 5 CDs. All right, I had 5 CDs. I was gonna make it work. I was gonna make it work. Um, the whole hook of the store, the joint, we was gonna Midnight Storm. I had this Rain Thunder CD, and I was gonna play that the entire night, right? Because I want the whole thing is just a storm, right? It's storming, and the
Yeah.
R&B would ride the storm. And so I wanted to end it with Freddie Jackson had a song out with Jay-Z at that time, Sunshine, um,
Oh, you
Run
mean
the City.
Babyface?
No, was that
Yeah.
Babyface?
That was Babyface on there. That was
Who
Babyface.
who had the joint Sunshine? I thought that was Freddie Jackson had that.
That was
Sunshine, I can't go
Alexander
for
O'Neal.
baby. Alexander O'Neal. That's what.
Yeah.
See, look,
Yeah.
I got the story next to me over here. So I needed that track because the last intro was like, oh, welcome to the Midnight Storm, where we gotta show you that even after the rain, the sun's gonna come again, right? That was gonna be hot, right? Like we was visionary.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we was feeling it.
Yeah.
I had a sandwich that day. I was on my grind. Get a sandwich grinder. Y'all know about that. Y'all know about that. Some places a sandwich is a grinder, people.
That's
Knowledge.
right. That's right.
Google. Um So I'm actually all around campus, and this is before Napster, before LimeWire. All right,
Hmm.
and everybody, yo, go see that guy Joe. I heard he got some music. All right, cool. I'm gonna find him. Went to his dorm, knock on the door. This man eating a sandwich right there. I was like, oh, we fan talk. Then not only was he eating a sandwich, the man said, "Do you want one?" Of course I do. Yes, thank you very much. I was getting a sandwich, and I said,
Everybody
"Do
came
you
to my
have?"
room for the sandwiches.
Yo, man, I asked the man. He had the CD. He said, "Let me check." Audience, when I tell you, it was like my man opened up the vault of heaven. He went under the bed. He pulled out one of these big flip books of CDs, put it on the bed. It was like a thump. Right? It was like boom, flipping through, flipping through, flipping through. Can't find it. I was like, oh man, don't worry about it. Thank you for looking. He said, no. Hold on. Went on the bed, got a second one. Right? I was like, oh, wait, there's more? Pulled up with the second joint, thump again. Boom. Flipping through it. Had the track. Yo, I looked at him. I looked at the joint and said, yo, fam, check this out. What you doing tonight? You want to come be on this radio real quick? Can we walk over here together? Let's go. And since that day, like, yo, this man has impressed me every day since. Like that was just amazing, and it was Murder She Wrote after that. Like it was game on.
Yes, sir.
Um,
Yes, sir.
Push. I mean, yo, you heard from Rain lately?
No. Mm-mm.
I hope she's doing
Mm-mm.
good. And Rain, you seeing this? Yo, it was love. It's
Yeah.
always been love.
I was literally thinking about her the other, like a couple days ago, because I saw this truck go by.
Mm.
And it said, I forget how the name was spelled, but it looked like Jerry's last name, because you know her last name is Balcom. And like I rarely see that last name anywhere. And I was like, dang, that joint is spelled almost just like her name. And immediately, like I thought about Jerry, and I thought I always think about two things, actually three things with Jerry. Of course, the show.
Mm.
That's number one. Number two, you know, she was roommates at one. Well, you probably, I don't think he was on campus at that time, but you remember Javi?
I don't. I don't.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. I think Javi, like she came maybe the year after you had left campus for a little while. But she was there at the same time. If I showed you a picture of Javi, you probably know who I'm talking about. But at
Mm.
any rate, so her and Javi, they were roommates at one time, and they had like they were doing what was it, pedicures, manicures, like basically like pampering type services or
Yeah,
whatever.
little
So
spot joint. Little spot
right,
joint.
exactly. So I won the contest and like that they had going on or whatever. And like Javi was like the first person that gave me like a manicure or pedicure. Like that's the first ever time I had that. So that's the second thing. And then the third thing is it was one time me and her, we took a road trip back up to the school. This was the first time that I went back up to the school after I graduated. So we
Mm.
took that whole road trip from DC because she was uptown, I was south side. We took that whole drive from DC up to Hobart, which is me and her, the whole ride. You know what I'm saying? So like that was like when you talk about road dog, you know what I'm saying? She was definitely one of my road dogs. And we took a couple trips up to school together because
Mm.
a lot of times, like what would happen is I would go pick her up on the way back to school, like, hey, you want to ride back to school with me? And she'd be like, yeah, sure. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
She was definitely a great woman, man. Like,
Yeah. That's the homie
yo,
right there.
yo, not to be funny, man. Just thinking about it, like real talk. You look at the dynamic of most podcasters and radio shows.
Yeah.
Low key, we had that.
Yeah. We
Two
did.
guys, one woman. For their point of view. Yeah, we had
Hmm.
that whole dynamic way long, way
Yeah.
past.
Yeah.
Like, I was looking at podcasts now. I'm like, yo, fam, I see you. I see y'all. I see
Hmm.
what y'all doing here. All right.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
But
Yeah. We had it on lock.
so now to the point, unrequited love.
Yes.
What was your let's go volleyball style. What was
I
one of
like
your
that.
earliest unrequited love instances and what
Oh,
kind of got you through it?
listen, my first one, I don't even know if I would say it's love, but it was definitely unrequited. So
Mm.
my song Chasing Maria is probably the best encapsulation of unrequited love because I had this, now mind you, like I was in kindergarten. We was in kindergarten.
Mm.
And I mean, I thought this girl was the most beautiful girl I'd ever seen in my entire life. And I ain't know nothing about relationships or love or any of that. I just knew that I thought she was pretty. I wanted her to like me. And I was doing everything I possibly could to just like kind of sort of be in her orbit just so she had noticed me or just so she'd feel like, oh yeah, Joe is cool or whatever. And it was one of those things where it was like she thought I was cool, but again, we were in kindergarten. So it's like, okay, how deep are you trying to take this, bruh? Like, let's
like, like, can she get your cookie? Like,
right.
hey, it's look here, bro. You have my cookie here. Take this little cookie, baby. No, I care
Trust
about
me.
her. Get the
Trust
chocolate.
me. If I had a cookie and it was my only one, she would have got it. Trust and believe. If she wanted a cookie, I'm like, hey, this yours. Like
Now that's love, especially
yeah,
kindergarten. That's love. You get to cook. Whoa, 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 whoa. What are we doing here?
right, right. Because I wasn't even sharing my cookies with my little brother. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Shout out to Mike. Sorry.
You know what I mean? But probably, and I probably got like a bunch of stories. Like, I mean, that's one. Then there was this other girl. It's funny because I'm Facebook friends with her now.
Mm.
But I remember this was like maybe fifth going in the sixth grade. Maybe I was already in the sixth grade. And I think she was like in the fifth or the fourth grade. So I was ahead of her. So I thought that, well, actually throughout elementary school, there's a bunch of these stories, but like she came up like, I guess maybe because, like I said, I'm still friends with her on Facebook. And I remember, oh man, this is so embarrassing now I'm telling this story. So
Mm.
I learned the moves, and of all the moves that I could learn to a video, why did I try to learn the moves to Rub You the Right Way by Johnny Gill? And
Oh,
I mean, when I say I knew all the moves, my mom still teases me to this day, like, yo, you knew all of the moves step for step, line for line. Like I learned all the dance moves to this video, and I did it for on the playground, Lecky Elementary School, Southwest DC. You can only imagine in the early 90s.
yeah, I know you.
The
I know they ate you up,
embarrassment.
brother. I know they ate you up. yo, yo, you know what's wild? Yo, when you do declarations of love or affection, like we're so starved of it as a culture. You
Yeah,
know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Like big gestures should be appreciated. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But it's
Mhm.
looked at like, oh man, this dude's weird on it. Like I think one of the biggest things that holds a lot of people back from relationships or trying is just that when you're feeling something so deep for a person, it's like, how do you let it out in a way that doesn't scare them?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because
Yeah. Mm.
not everybody is used to being loved on
Right.
or receiving love,
Yeah.
a positive matter. And when you throw it at them, it scares them. It scares them
Mhm.
to feel like, oh man, this person is want to make me the center of their happiness to a
Yeah.
degree. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, and it's a scary feeling, like, oh man, I'm responsible for this. And some people can't handle it. Like,
Mhm.
one of my unrequited love moments, this girl, her name was Elizabeth Outlaw. Her
Mhm.
mother was a school bus driver in Roxborough, North Carolina. Um, and me and her mom used to always like have a little friction because I'd be
Yeah.
listening to my music in the back, and she always take my headphones. I'm like, "Yo, fam, I'm trying to get right for school. like, like you killing me. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? 'Cause I came from New York, and in New York, I went to school on my own. So I was riding public transportation. There was no rules. Like, you mean I can't have my headphones on? You crazy? Like, what
Right.
is this?
Yeah.
So adjusting to being on the school bus and having rules and stuff, I was not a rebel. I used to always like try to slide by. So her
Mhm.
daughter was on the same bus, and she was a big girl. All this, all of y'all know this, but I like big women. It's the thing for me. Big women are the greatest. Thank you, God. I see what you did with that rib. I appreciate it. I appreciate it kindly. Thank you. You know, left a little meat on the bone. I like that. I like that. Left a little meat on the bone.
I
You know,
love it. And I agree.
but and you already know. You already
Yes,
know.
sir.
So I don't know. You know this movie called Willow.
Oh yeah.
Listen, I'm a big Willow fan. All right.
Yeah.
Listen, it's my joint. So I literally wrote down the words my man Matt Mordigan said to Sorsha. He was like, you're my earth, my moon, my galaxy. You know what I mean? Like I wrote all that
Mhm.
down.
Yeah.
And I literally got in the front of the bus before we pulled off. I said, Elizabeth, I gotta let you know. You my sun, my moon, my earth. My whole world rotates around you. And then I spliced in like some real life. I was like, when I come get on the bus, the first thing I want to see is you in the morning. The last thing I want to see when I get off the bus is you. Yo, when I
Mhm.
tell you the bus rode me, my guy, oh man. My cousin was on there. Like my family rode me for the longest. It's like, yo, that's how you feel? You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like the world just stopping. Like I can't drive you to school. Your world ain't gonna move. like, like you want to be on the bus. You know what I mean? You want to get on that bus.
Yeah.
And it. Luckily, I was strong enough myself. Like it didn't damage me. You know what I mean? I ate it. Like whatever.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
she knew what I meant. Nothing ever came of it. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like it never went no further than that. I never had a chance to speak to her outside of the bus. She totally avoided me after that.
Yeah.
And you know, as a child, it was like, damn, I thought I was gonna hit. Like, I thought that was going to hit. I put time on that one,
Yeah.
but that's where music comes in. Like, I remember leaving and just zoning out the music the rest of the bus ride. Everybody's talking shit. I'm in the back, just got my music on. I think I was listening to New Edition.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, Down My Heart, The Boys. I was listening to that.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
was out back then. It was Down My Heart, baby. But she ain't
Yeah.
had to.
So now that brings up a question. So, I mean, you bring up songs.
Mm.
Is there a song that you feel like captures unrequited love the most for you? Or a
Oh,
series of songs. It don't even have to be just one song, but like songs that you can think of, like when you think about unrequited love, like, yeah, y'all understood the assignment with this song.
there's a bunch. And it's different forms of unrequited love. You know what I mean? Like, there's what I had with Elizabeth was we never had anything together. It was all
Hmm.
on me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, that love was one sided. That was
Hmm.
infatuation to a degree.
Yeah.
Then you have we did something together, it didn't work out. I still
Hmm.
love you, but you don't want it from me. Like Carl Thomas, wish I never met her.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? My man driving slow, looking at her new family, like, damn. I used to
Creepy as
eat that.
hell.
You know what I mean? I used to eat that. You know what I mean? And here I am, looking at her with another guy. You know, like that's a different kind of hurt. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I
Yeah.
know what that berry tastes like, and he's enjoying it. This is bullshit. You know, this is bullshit. Then you got like, and this is actually a country song that turned into an R&B song because I feel like we
Mhm.
we stole it and
Yeah.
took it. I
Mhm.
can't make you love me.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's the first one
Listen,
I thought about.
listen, we took that over. The culture took that. They said, hold up, come over here and sit down. All right.
Hmm.
Have a sandwich. You know what I mean? We're gonna be over here for a while.
Yep.
I think Tank might have my favorite version of it. Teddy Swims right behind him. But it's you want to show somebody that how can I say this? It's low key selfish. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Because I know I can love you better than anybody you ever dealt with. I know
Mhm.
the passion I have for you will be spoken about long after we're done.
Yeah.
And yet you choosing that person over there. Yet
Mhm.
you're choosing you might not even choose another person. You might just be choosing not to choose me.
Mhm.
Me. Um sorry, I had to cool my hat, you know. But
Had to.
when you have that kind of unrequited love, it's just like, man. And then what really sucks about that kind of love is there are rare opportunities where that love actually gets a chance to blossom,
Yeah.
but there's so much hurt there that you can't live it. Like, I'll be honest, like if someone's been loving you for a long time, it really doesn't behoove you to give that person a chance later on in life because the love they have for you at that time was innocent.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like 10 years ago, 5 years ago, it might have been innocent. Later on, the passion might be there, but the love behind the passion might not. You can still have a connection with that person. You can still rock with that person, but that all encompassing love,
Yeah.
that might be out the window.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people go through that where they double back and
Hmm.
the feeling is not it's not the same because
Yeah.
times change. You know what I mean? Like people grow.
Yeah.
People grow.
Yeah.
And love they had at that point is different because now they've encountered different things and they've lived a life. And life will change up on how you feel about a person.
Mhm.
And that's one of the sad things about unrequited love is just like it has its moment in time. And
Yeah.
once that time has passed, it is gone.
Yeah. Yeah. That's very true. You have to recognize when that time has passed because a lot of times you want that old feeling back so bad that you don't even
Mhm.
realize that it's like you are hopefully a different person than the first time that you were with somebody. And
Right.
hopefully they're a different person than the first time you were with them. But sometimes those differences no longer align. And it's a matter of recognizing, like, okay, it was cool this time, but, or this first time, but are we in such different places this second time around that it won't even work and it will end up being worse than the first time around? You know, I've been there too. Where it's like I went with somebody after we broke up, and because I was in a totally different space, where we were 2 years before that, it's like, yeah, I'm not even that person anymore. So that's not going to work for
Mhm.
me. And this isn't going to work for you because either you've evolved in certain areas, but you haven't evolved in others, or I've evolved in certain areas, but not in others, you know? So,
Yeah, I mean, it's a thing of, and here's the thing. I tell anybody. I feel like the love that people have when they're younger is going to be the best love you're ever going to experience because
mhm,
you have nothing to compare it against.
yeah.
There's nothing to it but that innocent moment of we're discovering each other and discovering love together. Which why
Mhm,
I am totally jealous of couples who have had like decades to find themselves together. I think the longer you wait in life, you're never going to find that perfect person
yeah.
because you found perfection in different areas with different people.
Mhm,
But because of that, every time you meet somebody new, you're looking for perfection because you know what perfection is. Like, imagine for me, I've dated a model, right? And look
yeah.
wise, she was perfect,
Yeah.
perfect. Couldn't cook at all. She burnt my biscuit all the time. And that was fine because she was so fine. You know what I mean? I've dated someone who was a cook. You know what I
Mhm,
mean? She was a chef and she used to chef it up for the kid. I got
yeah.
10 pounds still because of her. Thank you very much for that. However, in bed she wasn't my match. Like she didn't excite me. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
I've had a woman who was a provider who I never had to reach in my pocket ever.
Mhm,
Like she took care of me even when I lived with another woman. She still
mhm,
took care of me because
yeah.
it's on my stomach. You know what I'm saying? Hey, look. You know what I mean? Let's not talk about that. That's a different segment. That's a different segment. But but I've had perfection in so many different areas of a woman.
Mhm,
I'm confident that I'm not going to find all that in one person, and I don't hold anyone that I deal with to that standard.
yeah.
I'm unique in that. I feel
Yeah.
like a lot of people don't do that. They don't take a step back and say, "Hey, it's unrealistic to expect someone to hit every check that you want." That's just
Yes.
unrealistic. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Because at the same token, are you hitting every point for that person? You know what I mean? Like I know my shortcomings. I
Mhm,
I, I am well aware, and I speak on it, and I don't try to be what I'm not. I
yeah.
try to be the best what I am. I try to be the best I am and who I am,
Mhm,
and I hope that ones I love appreciate that. And here
mhm,
we are. But when it comes back to the tie back to unrequited love, is that we have these feelings for a person that doesn't really exist anymore.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
if you have unrequited love for a person you never met, where your love is based on lust, because that's really what it is. It's you see this person, and on a lustful scale, they hit all the marks.
Yep.
Um, that person really can't fit what you really want if it ever came down to it, because they're a
Right.
whole person behind the lust. They have desires, they have concerns, they have ideals that you haven't even factored into love, and that's crazy.
Mhm,
You know what I mean? That's crazy.
yeah.
Then you have unrequited love from being a side piece.
Hmm.
Because I've been a side, a great side. I was mashed potatoes and mac and cheese. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? I brought the gravy and all of that. But I knew in being that side, I knew my role and I knew what I could expect from the person I was with.
Yeah.
Yeah, I loved them and I loved the access I had to them.
Mhm,
But I was also confident knowing that I couldn't be in love with them if I had all of them. Because I
right.
already know that they're capable of what they're doing with me. You know
Mhm,
what I'm saying?
mhm,
So a
yeah.
part of me will always be like, is this
Right.
really 100%? It's
Yeah.
not.
Mhm.
Then you have the last type of unrequited love is where you've been with somebody, it didn't work out, you break up, you still have love for that person.
Yeah.
But the love you had the love for the person that was in love with you. When they broke
Hmm.
up with you, they've become a different person now.
Right.
And you don't factor that in. And you're
Right.
chasing that. But they've moved on. They're a whole new person. And even
Hmm.
they come back to you later on in life, a lot of times they've only come back because they've gone out and seen what's in the world and didn't see the love they got from you and want to come back to it.
Right.
But you still got some hurt and you're still loving that original person and that person's gone. Because
Right.
now the person coming back to you, like you remember Jamera,
Hmm.
my first fiance.
Yeah.
I was in love with that girl. Like you know,
Yeah.
I walked. Hey, listen, Puff Daddy made the band walk to Brooklyn to get cheesecake. I walked from Astoria, Queens to Queensbridge to bring this girl Chinese food.
I remember that.
You know what I'm saying? Some egg rolls and chicken wings. What's good? All right. I hiked that. I'm a fat dude. All right. I was out there in the sun like we out. She gonna hit me, say, baby, I'm hungry. I'm on the way. You know, I'm
Right.
coming through. That's the kind of love I'm talking about. Like,
Yeah.
what kind of discomfort are you willing to go through to provide for somebody you love to? With her, it was nothing I want to run through. Like, what's up? I'm coming over.
Hmm.
When that ended, I was lost.
Yeah.
She came back to me maybe like 10 years later. She had been married. She been dating some dirtbags. She didn't feel appreciated. She didn't feel loved because, you know, she's a big girl. And let's be honest, not everybody that's with a big girl loves a big girl.
Yeah.
Like, that's just life. Like, some
Hmm.
people with a big girl, just because they want stability and they want to be looked at as more than what they are, and they feel like because in their mind they feel that she's less than, they deserve that. And
Hmm.
I disagree with that. I feel that's corny, but that is life. Some people will deal with somebody because they feel like they can give them less, and they're going to be appreciated more just because of how they look,
Right.
which I don't believe in. Um, and she came back to me, and
Hmm.
what she wanted was not me. What she wanted was the reassurance that I gave her, the
Hmm.
adulation I gave her,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
comfort of my love. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? If she could have got that from the person she wanted to be with, she would never came back to the kid.
Yeah.
Like that's just,
Yeah.
and I recognized it. You know what I mean? I see what
Hmm.
it is, and it's a trap a lot of people fall into. And some people would have fell for it, but oh man, I got her back. Let me hear it. And I knew I didn't have her back.
Yeah.
The person I walked for to bring chicken wings on a hot day, that person's been gone.
Hmm.
That person's gone.
Hmm.
So you know, like I said, that's when you cue let me love you. I mean, I can't make you love me.
Right.
That's where that
Right.
comes in. Because no
Mhm.
matter how good I treat you, no matter how much I pour into you, if you got a hole, you got a hole. It's gonna come right back out,
Yeah.
and
Abs-
that's life. So,
Yeah.
oh man, that was a moment. Let me wipe my eye. I got a tear. Ah,
The thug
ah.
tear and came out.
Throw that out. Let me throw that out there. Let me throw that out there.
Yeah, but I mean, that whole like just what you said, like just running the gamut of like those different types of unrequited love. I'm so glad that you like really expanded it because sometimes it's easy to just look at unrequited love like, oh, I like this person, but they don't like me back. You know what I'm saying? Or I'm attracted to this person, but they're not attracted to me in the same way. There's so many layers to it, or so many different types. Like you could be in a relationship with somebody, a whole relationship, currently in a relationship, and not get what you want out of that relationship in the same way, or they're not giving you as much as you're investing in that relationship.
Mm,
The side piece aspect, like if that ain't unrequited love, like maybe the epitome of it, I
it
don't know what
is.
is.
It
Like
is.
that's real right there. And I know there's a lot of people currently being side pieces, people who have been side pieces in the past, people who have had side pieces. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a lot of people that right now that I'm pretty sure could just relate to that aspect of it. You know what I'm saying? But then all of the other things, the layers that you put out there, like when you have broken up with somebody, and it could be a situation where you want that person back, but they're a totally different person
Mhm.
than when you dealt with them. Like that's a whole another animal right there. Because it's like you said, if unless they feel like they can't get it any better anywhere else, they're more than likely not gonna come back to you. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like in the midst of you saying what you were saying, all I could think was I Miss You by Harold Melvin, the Blue Notes. Like Teddy and Harold Melvin are begging. Like you got, Harold Melvin talking his rap or whatever, talking about, he done got a new job and he
Hit the
done
lottery
all
on
of
them.
these things, hit the
You gotta hit
lottery.
that number, baby.
Right, right. All of these things that he done came up and, life is starting to do good or whatever. But the one thing he doesn't have is her. And she done moved on with somebody else. Like, yeah, I'm
Facts.
good. You know what I'm saying? The kids
Facts.
is good. I'm good. She's like, okay, you can do all that singing all you want. You can miss me all you want, but I'm a totally different person than, when you were with me and you had the opportunity to get it together.
Hmm.
You had the
And that's
opportunity.
and to me, that is like an epitome of a song that tells you, like, yo, it's basically saying you, like, yo, he had a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Not even a good thing. He had a whole family. A
Yeah.
lot of people don't know he got a kid in that song. He got a
Right.
kid. He had a kid in that song. At the end of it,
Right.
he's like, how my boy doing? You still like to go fishing? He like go down by
Mm-hmm.
the lake. You ain't know about that because you skip over it. Because when you hear that song, a lot of people hear that song, they think about how powerful it is for a man saying, "I love you and I need you."
Yeah.
But you don't look at the behind it of there's a man that had love, walked away from it, and now trying to get it back to the point where he's like, "Yo, I got a job." Well, he said he had a gig,
Right.
but she wasn't hip to that.
Right.
So he had to break it down. Nah, I got a job, baby, plain job, 9 to 5, all the overtime I could get. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Then he said he hit the lottery. You know what I mean? Like I hate to say, men, we think that we can make things up with material. You know what I'm saying? But the honest truth of it is, once you lost the love of somebody, there's no real way to get it back. It's never going to be the same. It's never going to be what you thought it is. You're always going to be chasing high. It's kind of like being a drug addict.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like people realize drug addicts aren't addicted to the drug. They're addicted to that first hit they ever got.
Yep.
And they
Yep.
always try to get back to that first hit. You know what I'm saying? That's all they're trying to do is like every time they're hoping to get that first rush.
Yep.
And that's what love is. When you first get it,
Mm-hmm.
it's such a rush. It's like the whole world slows down. It's only this person.
Yeah.
But once you F it up and once you come out of that zone, it's so hard to get back to it. Now, let me not be totally pessimistic and say it's not possible. There are people that have broken up and got back together
Yeah.
and things have been better.
Mm-hmm.
But with that, it takes such strength on both sides to put in the work.
Yeah.
Uh, my granddad used to tell me, because me and my girl was married for almost forever, like
Mm-hmm.
forever,
Yeah.
forever.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has some advantages. Like I know, like he didn't have the internet and all like that, so a lot of the problems people face nowadays is that such the surplus of attention is so wide out here now. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, everybody, their mother wants to say, "Hey, girl, you look good today." Like, sit back.
Right.
But what he told me was, and I still abide by it, is there's no such thing as 50-50 when it comes to love. It's rare you can be equally yoked with your partner.
Right.
There's a sliding scale,
Mm-hmm.
and that scale moves all the time. So your man, as a man, you might be at 80%, and your girl's at 20.
Yep.
You gotta be cognizant of that fact and work on getting her up with you. She
Right.
gotta be cognizant of that fact and work on coming up to you. But in that work, you're gonna drop. And that's just being a person because you're at some point you're like, man, why am I working so hard to get this person to love me when I'm loving on them?
Mm-hmm.
So while their love is coming up, your love is coming down.
Yep.
And it's gonna level out. And that's gonna
Mm-hmm.
repeat. And the best couples are couples that can recognize that and see when that moment is there and know they gotta do a little bit extra. Like when the guy's at the bottom, man, he might say, hey, you know what? Let me go spend some time with my baby. I need to get
Yep.
my love.
Yep.
She might be up and see that he's down, and she might say, you know what? Let me make this favorite meal. Just let him know that I love him. I appreciate him.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the moments where relationships truly thrive, where you show that. yeah, there are options out there, but I'm the choice. You feel me?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm the choice. I'm the one you made.
Hmm.
You got to keep making that choice every day. Every day
That's
you got to keep
right.
making it.
That's right. That's right.
But
Yeah.
again, that's my TED talk. So
It's a great one. It's a great one. And honestly, it's funny that you said that because that's something when my wife and I, when we were going through what we were going through, probably a couple of years ago, that's the one thing that she said to me, like, you have to, it's a daily choice. The reason why I'm with you and the reason why no matter what we go through, I'm still here is because I choose you every day. Every day I make the decision to love you the way I love you, and that's really what it's about. Like, you have to be down in. I think I might have said it in the description for one of my other singles where I said it's a daily choice, it's a daily decision. Like, there are no sick days off in love. Like,
mm,
you might want to take them off, but there are no sick days. Like, you got to be like you can't take a day off and be like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, I got the flu, I might need to go to the doctor or whatever. Like, I mean, yeah, you go through those moments, but the whole point is you don't take a sick day to the point where you just don't check in at all, or you're not present at all. You have to be present every single day, whether you want to or not, because it's one of those things where when people talk about love, that is less of a feeling and more about commit.
hmm it's a sanctuary. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
at the end of the day, man, this world is so hard. You know what I mean? Like it's so much out there that you got to deal with. To come home to
Mm.
someone is just like I'm super jealous of you. Like I'll be honest. Like I tell anybody, like the fact that you've curated a family and kept it together this long
Hmm.
and building upon that, it's amazing. Because I know how
Yeah.
hard it is to love somebody so long and still be together. And
Yeah.
especially nowadays, like there's so many little bumps in the road that we come into that we don't even realize.
Yeah.
Um, Having Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, and all these things, there's so many avenues for people to come into your world that have no idea of what damage they can cause in it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like they have no idea what ripples they can cause, and yet
Hmm.
you navigate it, my guy. You float on those joints. You want no ripples? Like yo, we here.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, like
Absolutely.
it's a blessing, my guy. I'm very happy for you.
Appreciate it, man. It's taking some work, man, for sure. Because yeah, like I'm glad that you brought up the whole difference in the landscape in terms of how easy it is for people to access you to access other people,
Mm-hmm.
because it's much like the music. It's so much more accessible now. And because it's so much more accessible now, it devalues certain it devalues the importance of like really kind of sort of drawing certain boundaries and establishing certain relationships and valuing the relationships that you already have because you have access to so many different types of relationships. You know what I mean? So it's like, I mean, that really perfectly ties in the whole theme of Bring Back the Love. It's like so many things that you can break down just with that whole theme, that it's not just bringing back the love in the music, it's bringing back the love, like what love really means, and how you really go to bat for those that you say you care about or you claim you care about. There's certain rules of engagement that you have to abide by, that some of them are spoken, some of them are unspoken. You know what I mean? But it's like really just establishing, like, look, I care about you. I love you. I want you to be a part of my life. And there's certain things that I'm willing to do that in a lot of ways are kind of old school and or classic, even if you don't want to brand it as old school, but kind of classic ways that it's like this is what love is supposed to be about. Sometimes it's just you just keep it simple. And sometimes keeping it simple is going to certain things that just have always worked throughout the test of time, no matter what advances in technology or what accessibility you have to other people have to you. It's just certain principles and standards that have just held up no matter what era you're talking about.
And that's all it is to it, man. It's just constant decisions and being present. Being present. I mean,
Yes.
paying attention
Yes.
to it and being constant with your partner. Just letting them know, like, I see a change. Let me be a part of it. You know, I see you
Mhm.
growing. Let me be a part of it. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But family, I gotta go.
It's all good, brother. It's all
My
good.
time is ticking. Um, I love these conversations. I've been viewing you. You've been doing amazing work. I can't wait to hear the whole thing together. Um, Honestly, we gotta do more of these conversations, bro. Like
We
the
do.
thing is, we get to talking, like, and I'm like, oh man, wait, I got more to say. I got more to say. But
Yeah, this been dope, bro. This been dope. Like, I mean,
yeah,
this has been perfect. Like, you hit stuff that I didn't even ask, that I didn't have to ask. You knew exactly where to go. But when you in sync with somebody, it's
hey,
certain things that don't even need to be said. They just happen.
listen, fam, you remember from the first episode, the first time we was on the air, bro? We was grooving on day one. Nigga, we
Absolutely.
had no script or nothing. We was vibing. Hey,
Yeah. Yeah,
it
no
just
doubt, man.
I ain't gonna lie, man. Like I know you started with the intro of me, but let me just say, I've been blessed with friends in my life.
Yeah.
I've been blessed with brothers in my life. And you, my man, you've been day one.
Yeah.
Like, it never faulted.
Yeah.
And whatever I can do to support it, whatever I can do to support you and the movement, I'm here for it. Um, I guess we got to come to DC. I need some mumble wings. I ain't had none in a while. I got to come
Yes,
through.
sir.
I got
Yes,
to come
sir.
through. And no more checkers though. No more checkers. I gotta put that down.
And
Hey,
what's crazy is that they building a bunch of checkers like around where I live now. Like I had to drive all the way to Greenbelt to go to a checkers. Now it's one right in Laurel, right across the
seriously?
way. Oh yeah. Oh
You
yeah.
remember that time I
Yeah.
came down to visit? I went up there with a robe on. Hey, give me 4 burgers. With the apple pie. Let me get those.
Right, right. We put the
Hey,
apple pie on the burger.
hey, that was the time when they told me. I was like, man, I was like, confused. I was like, guys, I want a double cheeseburger, but I also want the chili on it too. And they was like, yo, you can chill on anything. I said, what? On anything? Oh, oh, woo! Hey, let the people in the back know. Will that out? It's coming. I need
Right.
4 burgers. Oh shoot! Yo,
Oh
man,
man.
we've had some adventures, my guy.
We have, man. Yeah,
Hey,
absolutely, man. But
but
I
yeah.
appreciate you, man. I appreciate you so much for coming on tonight, man. Like I appreciate all your support from the very beginning. Not only, ladies and gentlemen, I gotta shout my brother. I always gotta shout my brother out for every way he supported me. If it weren't for this man right here, I probably wouldn't be rapping. And
Oh,
I'm just
don't
keeping
say
it a
that.
buck with
Don't
y'all.
say
No,
that.
I'm serious. I'm serious. Like you were the first person to really like put a battery in my not the first. There's a couple people who put the battery in my back, but like when the song that you referenced, Holding Back the Rage, I never forget it.
That was light. I was like, oh,
Yes. Yeah.
that was in the basement. I was like, yo, what? Fam, you're not
Yeah.
gonna put this in a beat? Like, this is
Yeah.
lit. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Like you were like you have always been in my ear like, yo, you need to do this. You need to do this. You need to do this. Like, and I mean, throughout the years, you have constantly been the main person to like encourage me to constantly create no matter what I was going through, no matter what I was dealing with, and not just create in one type of way. That's just it. Because sometimes I get people and it's like they're used to me creating or curating in different types of ways and they just want that part of me versus all of the different layers to who I am. That's why you one of my best friends because you've always encouraged me like whatever you are good at, do that. It don't matter whether it's production, it don't matter whether it's rapping, it don't matter whether it's radio. Whatever you are good at, do that. Like you have been the main person in my corner with that, man. And I appreciate you and I love you, my brother.
man, you already know it's love, man. I love you too, family. Hey,
Yeah.
uh, tell your amazingly named son I said what's up. I love that kid.
Yeah, you have now slid down to my second favorite Jason in my life. So
Hey, tell that amazingly named child you're doing good. All right.
yeah, no doubt. No doubt, man.
But yo, family, listen, this has been fun. If you got
Yes.
another empty track, let me know because I definitely got thoughts on anything you got. All right.
Absolutely.
Uh,
Absolutely, brother.
I'm off every Wednesday. So hit me up.
For sure. For sure.
All right, later,
All
family.
right. All right. Peace, bro.
Later.
Later. All right, ladies and gentlemen, once again, that was my brother, Jason Mitchell, aka Country. Man, y'all see why we did a show together for years and years and years. You know what I'm saying? And it was just like no time had passed or whatever. I mean, whenever we talk, it's like no time ever passes or whatever. But y'all see exactly why I brought him on. Y'all see how easily he navigated the R&B space. You see how easily he navigated the unrequited love space. And I mean, just given the layers and everything when it came to the music, when it came to relationships, all that, and even took it certain places I wasn't even expecting him to take it. And that's why he was perfect for this topic tonight. Speaking of unrequited love, that is actually the inspiration for the song, or the song is the inspiration for this conversation. And that song is from my new album that is out right now. Of course, I had to bring up some graphics and all of that good stuff. That album would be Love on Rewind. And that is featuring also the singles Something New, Fluent in My Language, Resilient, and Rewind. That project is out right now, available for purchase and streaming on iTunes, Amazon, Spotify, my Bandcamp page, which is ajthrowback.bandcamp.com. Also streaming on Tidal, and you can also get it at my website, www.bammllc.net/music. Once again, that's bammllc.net/music. So definitely make sure that y'all get that, if you haven't done so already. And if you're not already following me on social media, I am at AJ Throwback on Facebook and X, formerly known as Twitter. I am at a.j.throwback on Instagram, Threads, and TikTok. And right here on YouTube, I am at AJ Throwback 928. I appreciate everybody who tuned in live for this. But if you're tuning in on a replay, I appreciate you as well. If you're not already subscribe to this channel, please make sure that you like, comment on this post, share this video, and of course, subscribe to my YouTube channel. So whenever I go live, premiere a new video, post a new video, you'll be among the first to know. Next week, we will be going into a totally different song from the project. So y'all make sure that y'all stay tuned for that next episode. I'm trying to remember which one. So that one will be about being careful with the person that you're with, being careful with their heart. So that will be based on that particular song from the Love on Rewind album. So once again, I'd like to thank my brother Jason Mitchell, aka Country, for coming on tonight's episode. I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in for this episode of Bring Back the Love Conversations, where it's about bringing back not only the love, but bringing back the conversations about love, but bringing back tender, loving care, BBTLC. Y'all always see the acronyms and everything. So until next time, y'all enjoy y'all weekend. Enjoy the rest of your Friday, and I'll see y'all next week. All right? Peace.